All right, Stokastic, it's your old pal Emac coming to you on a Sunday night here with a special guest, one Travis Mangone. You guys have seen him in the DFS world for a long time. True story, Travis and I did shows, about 10 years ago back at Roto Grinders. So we've known each other for quite some time. I'm happy to be able to work with them here once again. So welcome to the show, and thank you for covering for me when my wife and I were out in Napa doing couples things.
Yeah, happy to be here. Excited to talk. I was back when you were talking about bath night and nacho night. I don't know if you still talk about that too much.
Those are good callbacks. Yeah, I have it for a long time, and don't do the "It's Sunday fun."
That was my favorite. OG here. Maybe some other OGs know in the chat. I'm not sure, but the Sunday Fun Day was really good. Hey, it's been a Sunday Fun Day for me, Emac. So I'm trying to look. I'm in sixth in the whatever it is. So I've been using the Stokastic sims, right, Emac? So this is like a little plug, right? Shameless plug. When I came over here, I was like, okay, I'm going to use these sims. I hadn't used these sims. I used other sims. And I was like, I'm going to experiment, and try to figure this out. So when I did my last show with Greg, I think we talked for like 30 minutes after. And I asked him like a bunch of questions, and he helped me out. And I'm currently sitting in sixth in the 50 cents, so maybe we can hold. I don't know. We got one game left, so I'll be sweating that out. Maybe I can hold. I loaded up on Jameis Winston today, so it was a good day for me. Famous Jameis. I saw everyone was going Brissett, or the Sims were pushing Tyler Show or Shuck, however you say his name. Yep. I said, I don't care if the Sims are pushing Tyler. I'm pushing Winston. The whole point is the Sims told me what the path was to victory, and it was cheap quarterbacks. And sure. I found my cheap quarterback to get the job done, so I was very happy about that.
No, that's excellent. So I usually only play one or two lineups on the main because I got to write the content for Sunday night and Monday night and all that. So I get real ensconced in these one games. So I love playing Showdown now. I used to not really like it that much, but after years of doing these shows and 3 articles a week for 18 weeks in playoffs, it's like, okay, I kind of like this format. So I usually build a hybrid cash game lineup, but then I'll put it in tournaments and smaller leagues just so there's a little bit of upside and quins and triple ups. I did not play Jahmyr Gibbs. I went with Bijan Robinson today. They were very similarly priced, and I'm like, this will be a good – Atlanta's going to have to rely on him. Whew.
That's right. That the thing I loved, and we can get in the Showdown shortly, but the one thing I did love about this slate was I was just like, I get the game of the slate, at least in my opinion it was, and I get the quarterback unowned in the build that I want. Like, it was like one of my favorite tournament slates. So, hopefully it can hold. We got one game left. It's 21-21. I'll be sweating it on the side while we're going through this. And, this is a great slate, right? Like, I mean, you write all the articles. Like, listen, you're writing articles. Like, you're writing Raiders and what was the game the other day? Raiders, Broncos. Like, you're writing up some bad showdowns.
Yeah.
Like, this is one when you get the right Emac, like, we at least have some sexy plays.
Definitely. And you guys can get that out there free on the Stokastic pitch. If you're not following me on Twitter, you definitely want to, because I'm always tweeting out my stuff, but I'll drop the link there into chat. This is free. It's on the NFL homepage. I do basketball 5-6 days a week. It'll be 7 days a week as soon as the NFL is over, depending on the Thursday night slate. And we don't do Sundays because there's just nobody's paying attention unless you played Goga Patatse today like I did in about half the field, and that son of a gun late scratched after tip off, or lock time. We'll go back to football here. No need to relitigate how bad the NBA lock times are, but we're gonna have some fun here tonight. We've got a few quick things to say. We've got some ways to get free sims here, which is always helpful. You guys can go. I'm going to drop this link here into chat as well. But you can get anything that you have not yet signed up for. If you click through our links here, you will get 1 free month of any single sports sim of your choice, along with the bonus offer that the operators are offering. And I can guarantee most of you haven't signed up yet for Onyx, probably not Fanatics. And Onyx is available in over 40 states, even Florida. But follow these quick rules here up at the top, and you can get a free month of a sport of your choosing for each book you sign up with. So these can stack. sign up for 2, get the rest of the NFL season, right? Sign up for 3, go for 1 NFL and 2 NBA. It's best deal out there in the industry, but act quick because some of these folks go away. And you can see that I don't want you guys to miss out on Onyx because there's rumblings that one might go away between a little bird told me. But jump on in there and get that. Act quickly, act now. All right, we're going to kind of break down the slates here. I'm going to be screen sharing a little stuff, DK, and we'll talk FanDuel. But we're going to do kind of our analysis now. I'll kick off a set of sims here. Hopefully that doesn't slow down my computer. There's been a little bit of issues with StreamYard doing that. I am hardwired into the router here because I am needing to do that since technology and I are not friends. But if for some reason I disappear, Travis, I will be right back. I'll just have to close a bunch of browser windows and I'll be right back here. But let's first off, let's set the stage here for our game. It's kind of must win ish for both teams. Tampa is 6-4. They have a half game lead over Carolina. I didn't see they play on Monday night, so we don't know the outcome of that game. But the Tampa Bay is in line, and they are minus 850 favorites to win the NFC South for a 5th consecutive year, which would be one more than what New Orleans did, because New Orleans won 4 years in a row before Tampa took over that streak. They are right in the mix, Los Angeles, the Rams, are right in the mix with Philadelphia, depending on what happens with this overtime game. But at 8-2, the Rams have been looking pretty good, especially since they beat Seattle last week. So these teams are all, both these teams are near the top of the leaderboard here. They're both looking to make some postseason runs. It's been impressive with Tampa Bay because literally every receiver has been hurt at some point, including their rookie Ibuka, and then Bucky Irving has been out since week 4. That was the last time he played. So shout out to Tampa for getting this done. But let's look at Baker Mayfield. No Mike Evans in weeks 3 through 6, and then he got hurt again in week 7. Godwin missed the first 3 games, played 2 games, but got hurt. He's coming back tonight, but we don't know how effective he's going to be. Jalen McMillan, the rookie from the University of Washington last year, hurt his neck in the preseason. He hasn't played yet. Good chance he's not going to play this season. And then I mentioned Bucky Irving. So despite all of that, Baker Mayfield is averaging almost 240 passing yards a game. Now that's his lowest since becoming a starter for Tampa Bay, but with the way things have changed throughout the NFL over the last handful of seasons, it's not a horrible number. So he is someone we can consider here. He doesn't have a lot of rushing upside, but he gets about 20 yards per game. So there is a little bit there. But that is Mayfield here. So what do you like about Mayfield, and what do you like about his pass catchers, most importantly, because we have some moving pieces here?
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Jay Nevy in the chat, he said go Lions. So big game on Thursday. So Packers Lions. They got the Rodgers jersey on. So you're going down. It'll be a fun game. But we're talking about the pass catcher. Well, the quarterbacks and the pass catchers, right? But the quarterbacks are strong. For one, like Emac, these quarterbacks are not the type of quarterbacks that like you're looking to captain, right? I would assume when you run the Sims and everything, which I'm running my 150 pretty shortly, I'm not expecting them to captain. So they just do not make a lot of sense to me. Maybe Baker. One thing I do like to do on Showdown slates, Emac, is I always love to play because naturally most people, and I ran the cash builds just now because I am playing cash games as well on the Showdown slate. And I know you like to build a hybrid. It's very Rams heavy in the cash games today, right? So like one thing I won't totally hate, I'll say, is I think you could get away with Baker in the captain. I think you get away with it. I don't want to play like 15 or 20% of it, but I do think you could get away with him. And I also the point I was getting to, Emac, was I like to play a lot more underdog builds. Like a lot of people, they normally slam in the favorite most of the time. And don't get me wrong, I like Puka, I like Stafford, Adams. Like all these guys are good plays. There's values, but I think a lot of people gravitate that way. And if the field's going one way, I want to build sharper builds the other. So I do think you would get away with a Baker in the captain spot. Stafford in the captain sounds like a terrible idea. They both sound like really great flex options. So that's the quarterbacks. Do you want me to shift over and talk about the pass catchers?
Yeah, hit on Tampa, and then we'll get to LA, and then I've got the factory settings pushing the build here. You can see it ends up being a 5-1 on DraftKings with Cade Otton as the lone comeback. That doesn't feel like the best way to go about doing this here, but that's what it looks like.
That is one of the teams I saw. There's another. That was the second team. The actual. It's that or Tej Johnson, and then there's like a couple 2v2s and 3v3s. So one of the big decisions.
That's when the fun begins. Because look, if we put Mayfield in there, we only come down 3 median points, but you get an entirely different build because it opens up the pass catchers and the kickers. So there's a lot of ways to go here. We can see within like 4 points of median projection, there's all sorts of different builds to go on this one. But that was just kind of leveraging off what Travis was saying there about running the cash game build. But I'll continue building out the 150 here. But talk about the Tampa Bay pass catchers, if you will.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'm a big Tej Johnson guy. I loved him in college. He's awesome. So I think he's a really solid play at 4K. Listen, if he was in like that 6.6 range or like that 6.8, 7K, wouldn't be as appealing, but that 4K is a really nice price tag. So if you force me to pick, Tej Johnson feels like the better value over like a Cade Otton. And Emeka Egbuka is really interesting too, because I assume, and I could pull up his ownership that we got here, but I believe his ownership is going to be kind of low compared to like Puka and like Adams. And I think these pass catchers are really strong plays. So Egbuka is going to be one of those guys that I want to try to get over on if I can. But again, like I'm going to want a lot of Puka and all these other really good plays. So that's why Tez probably becomes one of the better plays for me, just because I don't know if I can afford Puka as much. So Tez is probably my number 1 favorite pass catcher, probably followed by Egbuka as a contrarian play, and then like a Cade Otton. 5.4 is a little pricey for Cade Otton, but he's definitely not a bad play, certainly. So those are kind of the Tampa pass catchers for me. You could make the case for like, again, a Sterling Shepard isn't terrible, but I definitely would want way more Tej Johnson than Sterling Shepard personally.
Sure. So one thing we want to keep in mind is the Los Angeles Rams defense. Most of their starters have been relatively healthy this year, but they're without a lot of depth, especially in the secondary. They've got Quentin Lake and Akilio Witherspoon. They're both on injured reserve, which has them looking to Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Now, he came in, I want to say it was with the Commanders. He was a first-round draft pick back in 2023, the 16th round draft pick here. He was about 170 pounds, allegedly. He probably was a little bit lighter. So he was very slight of build, didn't really make it in with Washington. So they released him last November. The Rams claimed him after he went through waivers, and he's kind of been, bouncing between their practice squad and then or a reserve role. He's pushed more into prominence with those other guys out. So that is someone, hopefully he ends up on Egbuka, maybe Godwin helps them a little bit because he is one of the weaker cover corners per PFF. If we look at Godwin, since he is back, let me share the screen here. This is from OddsShopper. We can look at his props. So his over on receiving yards is 29.5 plus 106. Over on receptions, they think he's going to get 3 receptions because it's 138 to get there. These are not eye-popping numbers, especially
not
for
7.6K Emac, right? Yeah. I think that's the key point. Like if he was $300, yeah, of course that'd be enticing, but that's not enticing at all.
Exactly. And that makes it a little bit tough because of the way some of the builds go. You're left and you're staring at him and you're like, well, I've got enough left for Godwin. It's like, yeah, he's been pretty hurt the last couple of years, lower leg issues. He's 29 now. If he was apex Chris Godwin from when he was last fully healthy, he would probably be an $8,700 player, probably pushing 9,000 here. And it would be an entirely different story. It's just really hard to get excited for him.
Like Emac, I would rather get different, and these are things the Sims will do. I would rather get different by playing Sterling Shepard and leaving salary on the table in a Tej Johnson build than getting different by playing Chris Godwin, right? Like that just makes way more sense. And the Sims will definitely do that for you when you run it here over at Stokastic.
Sure. And we can see here when I ran the 150 on factory settings, I'm getting about what the field is at, which is not much. But for those of you hand building and you're staring at it, don't worry about, I think because I finally ended up playing around I was kept leaving $1,100 or $1,500 on the table. And I'm like, I don't want to play Godwin. So I started messing around with my captain in the team free money. And that's my new shtick here for the last several years. Team free money, we dropped the head-to-heads there in the DK lobby, just $1, username Emac. Pride is priceless. There's a fish down there. You can find somebody named Mangone a lot of times in those $1 head-to-heads, and he will take on all comers. So check out that. If we look at everybody else, I like your call out on Tez Johnson. He's really shown he can be a depth piece here. Do I have the updates? I'm assuming Ryan Miller was probably inactive. It doesn't really matter, but Cameron Johnson will be active because he's their main kick returner. He shares kickoff duties, but he's their main punt returner. But he's probably not really going to get on the field there. So the snaps, if any, are going to come a little bit away from Tez Johnson, a little bit away from Sterling Shepard, and then the 8 to 10 that Ryan Miller was getting are probably going to go to Godwin, but it's really not going to impact the upper portion of Tampa. And then the thing of the call it I have here for Otton is he is just Mr. Steady Eddie. He has been on the field 97% or more of the time over the last 5 games. Only once this year has he been below 90%. And that was like 88% in the opener. So he is always on the field. He's second on the team because he's one of the guys that's been healthy. And he's second on the team with 53 targets. But most importantly, he's had at least 5 in each of the last 6 games. And he's averaging almost 7 during this stretch. So he is, while he has not really gotten in the end zone, he is just a very steady presence on the field. So I think he's reasonable. You can consider him for your cash game build. When we turn our attention to, let's just finish up Tampa. The running backs. Looks like there might have been a changing of the guard. It looks like Sean Tucker, both in our projections, the industry projections, the sports wagering market, they have him sort of taking the lead over, at least from a production standpoint, over Rachaad White. Now, Rachaad White, remember, he was kind of had the job and then lost it to Bucky Irving towards the end of last year. And he's okay, right? He's a perfectly fine running back, not dynamic, but he blocks, good set of hands, marginal in the running game. Tucker has a burst, and we saw him pop off for 3 touchdowns last week, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. I think he has 5 or 6 total touchdowns for his career. He's had 2 really good games in his career, but I think he is someone that we want to start looking to. I think we can still play Rachaad White. I would expect this to be a 50-50 split more now if we're trying to parse out where the production and fantasy points are going, but Tucker does have the upside. Do you have anything you want to add there to the Tampa running game?
Yeah, if everyone's going to play Tucker, I would rather like first, what's the projection? Pull them both up right here.
Yeah, so we got Tucker for about 26% in the flex.
So he's at 10.55. What is White's projection?
White is, and I haven't refreshed this chat, but I will in just a minute here to get in the latest update. But they're not going to change much because nothing's really changed. So White's at 9.64.
Okay, so it is really close already. Okay,
yes.
Like a lot of the times, like if the gap was like 10.5 to like 7, right? I would close the gap closer because I think the field is just like over adjusting to that. So that's interesting that it's that close. I would even maybe make White like a tick even closer. Maybe it's like move Tucker slightly down and White slightly up, but I just want to lean into unpredictability, right? That's just, I think,
sure,
the way to play this scenario. I can't promise you I know what's going to happen. It's kind of like the last show I was on with the Packers. I kind of joked. I said, I don't know which Packer receiver is going to do it, but Tucker Kraft's a beast, so play him. And these Packers receivers are just roulette. And it feels like roulette with these 2 running backs. It feels like a hot hand approach for sure.
Yeah, and if I'm calling up just to go into OddsShopper real quicker. So rushing yards, there's a gap. So receptions is where White is kind of catching back up, but he's only projected for about 25 rushing yards. Tucker's closer, if I remember correctly, 38. So there's a split there, but that's only 2 fantasy points, right? It comes down to what are they going to do on the receptions, and we can see that White is more favorably going to get to 3 or 4 than Tucker will get to 2. So that is a big deal on DraftKings, that full PPR. But it's just interesting seeing, wow, he's they've really got him for more yards. And we like to think of the odds makers of being a little more clinical than sometimes we are in the DFS world. So I found that a little surprising, which is why their projections are coming so close together. But as Travis is pointing out, there's leverage to be had by sticking with the tried and true guy in white. Stafford, remember the last week of training camp, and he was in some sort of hyperbaric trailer or something, and they weren't sure he was going to play? Yeah, he's leading the league in touchdowns right now. What do you think about soon to be third, or if Los Angeles makes it to the Super Bowl, Stafford will turn 38 the day before? What do you think about the old man? You going to throw some ageism my way here, Travis?
Emac, you can go on Twitter, or X is probably the kids call it. I talked about Matthew Stafford at like 16-1 being like a great MVP bet. I did not bet it like a moron, but I thought he was a great bet. So, hey, I'm a believer. I think he's going to get the job done this year. He's got a loaded offense too. He's one of the best flex plays of the slate tonight, right? Like, I think he's an even better flex play than Baker Mayfield, just because I know he's going to pass a ton. It's a clear funnel spot. So, yeah, I love Matthew Stafford too. Don't like him in the captain, but I think just flex-wise, his points feel so strong.
Yep. So he is minus 115 to go over 255 passing yards, plus 150 to get to 3 touchdowns. That's how much the odds makers are favoring him here. Rushing yards, not going to happen. He's minus 150 to not get positive rushing tonight. For the season, he has negative 9 yards on 24 attempts. Oh my God, how is that possible? Remember, kneel downs count against quarterbacks. So sacks don't; those go against the team net yardage for passing yards, but kneel downs count as rushing attempts, which is always something important to remember once we get to playoffs and you start thinking about, the Patrick Mahomes or the other not rushing quarterbacks that might start to kneel at the end of winning games. It's a way to play their total carries. So just food for thought. I mean, I'm not on Tails. I'm on Tails. It's free, but I just put DFS content on there. But you guys can see Travis on Tails there under what is your moniker there? Is it Mangone?
Yeah, it's under Mango, and I have DFS stuff on there. So if you want DFS stuff, I got that. And the bets have been hotty, Mac. I'll say that. I think after today, it'll be 7 days in a row of profitable days. So NHL, NFL, all of them. It's been pretty good. The one I've actually haven't done as much of is NBA, but I just haven't wanted to deal with the headache as much. And everything else has been rolling. So we're going to what prints right now.
Excellent. All right. So Stafford 5th in the league for passing yards, about 256 per game. 4 different quarterbacks have thrown for 298 or more yards against Tampa. So they can be friendly to opposing quarterbacks. If we look at the receivers, it's an army of 2. It's Nakua and Adams literally getting everything, and then it's everybody else. But if we count the tight end position collectively, sadly, there's 4 tight ends that have been making this come to fruition. But the tight ends are pretty good. Now, Tyler Higbee ended up on the injured reserve, so we're down to 3 tight ends. You got Ferguson, the rookie, who looks the most appealing from a price point. You have Kobe Parkinson, who is the best, or he has the longest track record. And then Davis is always floating around there. We've heard his name before in different showdown contests. What do you like about the overarching Los Angeles Rams pass attack?
Well, one, we like that it's a funnel, right? Like, it's just plain and simple. Like, they're going to get absolutely fed. Actually, one bet I do have, Emac, I have the over on Kyren Williams 9.5 receiving yards. So that was
sadly you got some CLV. I was only able to get that at 12.5 over on Hard Rock because I saw you posted that on Tails. So.
Yeah. I did that one late last night. I think I couldn't sleep, and I was like, let me at least run the prompts real quick. But so that was definitely one, because again, that just shows the pass game. Like, they're gonna absolutely eat. So anyways, let me go back to the pass catchers. I got a little sidetracked there. I think it's just clearly Puka and Adams are like, I just want to be so overweight on them, right? Like, I know and understand, like, the Sims like to diversify and do all this different stuff, Emac. I just don't care. It was kind of like JSN on the Monday Night Football game against Washington. Like, I just want to have so much Puka captain. There's certain guys that are on just a completely different level right now. And for me, like, Puka is one of those guys. JSN, I call him JS him, right? Because he is him. Puka Nacua, he's that guy. You know what I mean? He's that dude. Jahmyr Gibbs might be in that category soon, but like there's a tier right now, and it's CMC, it's Puka, and it's JSN. Gibbs, we can talk about that, and Jonathan Taylor, we can maybe add those guys in there, but I want to be well overweight on Puka Nacua captain. Like when I run the Sims, I'm running them now, and then I'm going to do the ROI boost. That's something I was doing right before you asked me the question. I'm ROI boosting Puka Nacua, no doubt. He's just, when he's not hurt, he's amazing. And I mean, he's not hurt yet. Could he be hurt in the third quarter? Maybe, Emac. He could be hurt in the third quarter, but he could also have broken the slate by then. So I'm very high on Puka. I want to be higher on him than even Devontae Adams. The one thing I will say, Devontae Adams feels like he has really good touchdown equity because they just run that play in the end zone every single time where it's either a slant or it's a back shoulder fade, and it's whatever's basically open. So I think Adams' floor is really good, but Puka's ceiling is just insane. So I'm team Puka.
All right. Do you have a favorite among the tight ends? They're relatively closely priced on DraftKings.
Yeah, so my way of handling it would probably be, I guess I'd lean Allen, but I'll just say this. When you run everything, and this is where like there are certain situations where you can't say, I know what's going to happen. You just have to say, okay, if I have 20% Davis Allen, okay, well, if I have 5% of Ferguson, why don't I just make it 10 and 10? You know what I mean? Like that's just my way of typically handling it. I know price matters and everything, but I would just want to make sure I'm not too overweight on one. If you force me to pick being overweight on one, I guess it's Davis Allen, but I don't have a strong take on it. I'll say that.
All right. How did you do in the? I went 0-55 on my main slate cash teams. How did you do in your mini max?
So I didn't do bad. Actually, I have people messaging me. They're all like, "Congrats, you won on FanDuel." It's some guy named Mang02, and that is not me. So, but I have a couple people like congratsing me, and but no, I ended up actually getting.
You're seventh.
Yeah, I got 7. Yeah,
$7,000, $1,000, Travis. There we go.
Yeah, we'll take it. I did really good in cash games on FanDuel. DK wasn't as good, so that'll help out. And yeah, I thank the Sims. I bumped Jameis Winston. I bumped his ROI. I boosted up the Giants stacks and the Lions stacks, and it was a good day. So I'm going back to the ROI boost right now because it did me good, Emac. And I'm telling you one thing, I'm ROI boosting a ton of Puka Nacua captain.
All right. Well, you guys, if you want to get some free Sims, another way to do that, in addition to signing up for those operators that I showed you, you can also rep the Stokastic avatar. Finish top 3 in any contest with at least 5,000 entries or more, not chopping showdowns 100 ways for first, but first, second, or third. And you can get, if you follow these steps, a free month of Sims. Now that builds on each other. First time you do it, you get 1 free month of any single sport Sims. Second time you do it, you get another month, and then you get a week of any other sport that you would like. Third time, you get all access Sims for a month. Win over 20K, you're going to get in the Ring of Honor, and you get a nifty little prize from us. And then if you are, I think we're up to 7 now, Millionaire Maker winners here. Look at that. We're going to give you Stokastic all access for an entire year. All you got to do is rep that avatar, win, show that winning screenshot with your Stokastic avatar, tweet that to Stokastic HOF, and Laffy is going to induct you into the Stokastic Hall of Fame. All right, running games here. Let me get back to showing a different screen. This is where it's always fun having Greg do this, and then I don't have to worry about it. But quickly, talking about the running game here for Tampa or for Los Angeles, much like Tampa's going through a little bit of a changing of the guard. Kyren Williams is not being completely run into the ground anymore. That's kind of interesting. Now, his snap share is going to be, he's going to be 60, 65, probably about 30% there for Blake Corum. But the interesting thing is Corum's starting to get first half carries, not just on that like first and fourth and drive and then second drive of the third quarter, whatever that pattern was at the beginning of the year. But he has gone 12, 13, 13, and 8 carries over the last 4 games. Now, yes, 3 of those, they were lopsided. They were Rams victories. But last week he had 8 against the Seahawks, and that was a close game the whole way through. But a lot of these are first half carries, right? It's not just entirely mop-up duty. And you know who's still getting fourth quarter carries in some of this mop-up duty? Kyren Williams. So Williams is the trusted guy. but he's only getting there on volume. Quorum was their second or third round draft pick a couple years ago.
Big game. You told me at the start of the show. You said this big game. So won't they lean on Kyren a little more?
Potentially, but the price difference. Kyren is what, like, I'm going from memory, like 9,000 or 10,000 on DraftKings. Quorum is 3,000. You can buy yourself a whole nother player for that, Travis. That's a big difference. So on the projections, though, Stokastic has him for about 15 carries and 70 yards for Kyren, 2.5 targets, 2 receptions, 14.4 yards, which is still above the 12.5 you can get. And Travis got the closing value if you guys are following him on Tails last night. Quorum is looking at close to 10 carries for 44 yards, and he has about a 60% chance of getting a target. So these guys are interesting, if only because of the massive salary difference. Now, there's a big salary difference for the two on FanDuel. However, getting down to 3,000 is huge on DraftKings. Having that much of a discount to him on FanDuel does not do as much because of the half PPR scoring, and the different salary cap structure and pricing. So Quorum is best used on DraftKings, but I think that's worth calling out. What do you like from the running game, if anything? And then we can talk kickers, special teams, and then start building our lineups here.
Yeah, I do like Kyren. Just because I think he's a little contrarian for sure. Like, again, like I think he's, if you play him, I think I want him more on the captain, like just because you're playing for the ceiling, I guess you can argue, right? But
Yep.
It's Puka and Adams, right? I definitely want more of them. Like, I'm not, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I try to X out like the Godwins and like some of these other guys that we talked about, like it's to kind of get a little bit more of these guys that are just getting the volume. I want these volume plays. So Blake Corum is definitely not a bad option. I don't totally hate him, but I would definitely much rather mix in like White and Tucker, right? Because there's more opportunity there. I know they're not the same price, but that's kind of overall how I would handle it. I do have let me ask you the cash game 2v2, because I do think people are probably wondering this, or maybe they're looking at 2v2s and they have questions. But the one I'm debating, Emac, is it's Tez and Corum, who we just talked about, or Ivan Ferguson. And I went with Tez and Corum because, I don't know, I think Ferguson's a 0. Not a 0, but like, more likely chance at a 0. So that's why I went with Tez.
Well, I got to tell you, Ferguson is in my cash game lineup right now.
Okay.
I'm going with Baker Mayfield and the captains. Don't, as they say on lulls, don't dupe me, bro. Pick up the Emac head-to-heads. But I got Mayfield. I couldn't get Puka Nacua to work, but I got Mayfield in the multiplier slot. Nacua, Egbuka. I'm going with Sean Tucker. Ferguson, no relation to Dallas Cowboy Ferguson, other than they have the same last name, but they're not related. And then I'm going with Mervis, who has replaced Josh Carty as the kicker for Los Angeles. Now, this is transitioning us there into the kickers and special teams here. But you can see I like what you're doing there, but with the way I ended up going, because I really wanted to Nacua in there, I ended up with Ferguson. But I like your Tez Johnson call out, and especially I built this before looking at the props for Chris Godwin, and I probably should think about getting more Tez just from a fantasy point per dollar play in there. But if we look at the special teams, so Harrison Mervis has taken over for Josh Carty. They're both on the 53-man roster, right? They kept bringing up is it Mavis? Mervis? I know I'm saying it is Mavis. So he has not attempted a field goal. And that was the problem with Carty, is he was 10 for 15. So even though he has that fun knuckleball kick on the new kickoffs, and that was really great, he's 10 for 15 on field goal attempts. Wouldn't you know, Nevis comes in for the last 2 games. He's 9 for 9 on PATs, or 8 for 8, whatever it is, but he hasn't attempted a field goal. Now, SoFi Stadium is a very good kicking stadium, so I'm hoping he gets some chances tonight. It's just field goals are fickle, right? We never know when they're going to happen. A crappy kicker can get 5 on a showdown slate, and great kickers may end up with 5 extra points. It's just the way it goes. But he's kind of interesting.
The reason I like the Rams kicker a lot is, like, I like to play kickers from good play callers, right? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to find ways to scheme this open. Sean McVay knows it's a funnel. Like, I'm very overweight on the Rams kicker unit. So I want kickers when I have a good offense and good play callers. And, like, also you have to understand which coaches are going to go for it on 4th down and which are not. Listen, the Rams will, but listen, they're always moving the ball. And that's really good for kickers. So I think Mevis is actually a really strong guy.
Yeah, so he's pretty good. And then Chase McLaughlin is for Tampa Bay. He's a solid kicker, been in the league for a long time. And he is more your steady veteran presence. But both these guys are good. I just think it's really funny that Mevis hasn't kicked it. But I wanted to call it. He did kick. He hasn't been in the pros yet with an official field goal attempt. I think he was with Carolina as a UDFA. I don't want to say maybe it was the New York Jets, but he was only on their practice squads or training camps. He did kick for the Birmingham Stallions, so he does have actual game experience. And then I'm blanking on which college he went to. I want Missouri, I think it was. But I do remember he was an All-American kicker, first team his sophomore year, and he was a 4-year kicker. So he's got the chops. He's just kind of a fringe guy at the moment. But we've seen these fringe guys, these late bloomers like Brandon Aubrey and some of the other guys come in and really take things to the next level. And then the last thing I want to call out is, remember, why are they kicking it so far? They changed the rules with what you can do about the kicking, the designated, the K balls. Kickers and the teams can do whatever they want to, massage them, scuff them up, do whatever it is, where they used to be only able to do it for a couple hours before the game. They now have changed those rules, which has made the extended field goal kicks very impressive. Shout out to my last namesake, Money Mac, Evan McPherson, career best 63-yarder this afternoon. Would you want to play any of the defenses as we wrap these up? And then I'm going to run 50 lineups here on DraftKings with a fresh cut, so you guys can watch what we're doing.
I will admit, Emac, I am. There's like two things I'm pretty stubborn on in Showdown DFS. For one, it's playing 5-1s. I do not like 5-1s. I never have. I don't think I ever will. I don't know why, but I hate them. And defenses, like especially in the captain, like I don't love playing them. So maybe eventually I'll evolve and get there, but. I lowered, I don't have any defense in captain. I'm pretty sure I tried to lower it. And then let me look at my exposure to the flex defenses. My highest one is Rams, and I have it at 12%, which looks like it's even with the field. So, and to be fair, the Rams are pretty an opportunistic defense. And listen, Baker's a gunslinger, right? He's willing to sling it. So don't totally hate it. So yeah, if you force me to pick Rams defense over the Bucs defense.
I completely agree here. Bucs they're not quite there. They're a good defense, but they're not Rams good. The Rams have been very reasonable with sacks, but they've been really good with turnovers. And as you mentioned, Mayfield's not afraid to take chances. That can lead to more turnovers. So that's why we want to consider him in all of this. For those of you that haven't picked up a team free money lineup, I've got 5 more in the DK lobby. Username Emac. I've been hemorrhaging. I lost literally every dollar I put into the DK main slate today. I lost. So take advantage of me, please. Be gentle. Maybe take me out to dinner first, or at least get me a nice bottle of wine. I'm just fixing my upload file here. Who are you afraid you're not getting enough representation from in your life?
That's a good question. From my stuff, I wish I had more Tez. I mean, I'm at 25%. I want more. The one I thought about like really adjusting, but I liked everything the way I had ran it. So I kind of left it. It seems like the sacrifices where it gave me a little bit more quorum and more Tucker. It seemed like Tucker really got pushed in some of my setups. But like I said, I love Tez. I'm at 25%. I kind of wish I was at like 35 or 40, but I liked everything else, so I'll just leave it. And I have in my cash game, so I'll be very happy. I will. I don't think I'll bagel if Tez Johnson goes off, but we'll see.
All right. I can't believe here we are talking Tez Johnson. This is glorious. This is glorious. This is why we do these sorts of things. I like the players that are off the beaten path. And I would say tonight, Tez Johnson does qualify for that because of the return of the Mac or Chris Godwin in this case. All right. Now I got my upload file ready. Let's go massage these lineups and see what happens here. So I'm building out 50 lineups. I'm going to use 2 uniques here. I've found more success going 50 lineups and putting them in a variety of contests. That I've learned this the hard way, that there are many ways to win at DFS. There are even more ways to lose at DFS. So you want to find what works for you. You can see in this build, without me touching everything, very, very heavy on Adams and Nakua. That's in alignment with what Travis likes here. We're getting Tucker sneaking in there just a little bit. I do agree with limiting kickers and defenses. I'm not getting any, but I'm going to make some changes here at the top. So I cap it at 2, which means I can get one lineup with these guys as the captain. And I usually do. I'm okay being above on Devontae Adams. I'm going to go 17, cutting it down from 28. I'm fine with the Kua. I'm going to go 30 with now 29. There we go. 29 with him. We talked about the quarterbacks being potential captain options. I'm not as excited about them. I would rather have both in the flex, even though I did put Baker Mayfield in my captain spot on my cash game lineup. But
I did similar to you, Emac. You did 5 on Stafford. I had 6 and I moved it to 2 out of respect for the Sims. Sometimes what I do is I just say, listen, the Sims, they probably know more than me. So out of respect, I'll give you your shares and give you a chance to take it down. So there you go.
Absolutely. And hey, they treated you right today. You gotta give them a little nod. We respect the streak.
They did, but I got to give myself credit for Winston. It definitely guided me.
Oh, absolutely.
I shot Winston up, and I wrote, in my DFS stuff, I made him my core. So, yeah, I loaded up. I had, like, a lot of those guys. But, yes, the Sims definitely helped lead me there because I really wanted – I like to use the Sims to figure out what's going on. And, like, one thing I'll say that's going on here, Emac, dude, so much Puka and so much Adams. We just got to play expensive captains today, in my opinion.
I would completely agree. And look at how much Ferguson I'm getting. Now that's a little bit much. So I'm going to bring him back down. But my goal is to advance some of the other cheap Rams tight ends. So, okay. So I'm going to go back. I'm refavoriting again. I've got 2 uniques here because I want to make sure I get some of those other players that are in the dregs, if you will, and this helps spread them out. I want to go with ROI boost here. Let's go with ROI boost. Davis, I want to get a little bit more, so let's give him 3 clicks. And Parkinson's, I want to get. I'm already slightly out of the field. We'll go 1 there, and then on Ferguson, I'm going to downgrade him by 1, and let's see what this changes here. And we got 7 minutes until lock, but notice we're not changing projections. We're not changing the inputs of what's going on in the Sims. We're just reordering the different the players here that how they're coming out in the rankings. And I think that's important for everybody to remember, because if you start screwing around with the inputs before things get into the player pool, then what you're doing is you're changing the entire. We're trying to mimic what the field is going to be. That's the baseline settings that are already there for the Sims. So that is always important. Wow, it's loving Ferguson. So I'm going to maybe have to respect that. But let's do Davis. I'm going to make sure. Oh, not very much. Do that one more time. And then I'm going to take whatever this is, and I'm going to see what questions we have, and we'll talk through all of that. But just quickly looking here, anybody you know what? Ferguson it is tonight. Whatevs. We're going to live large.
Ferguson's good, D-Mac. It's a funnel. I get it.
All right. I'm going to do one more tweak, Travis, and the Tez just for you.
There you go.
Oh, can I not spell? T-E-Z as in Cortez Kennedy, the Minister of Defense, the only guy that won the defensive MVP on a 2-14 team.
Yeah, I mean, the one big debate, like I said, like Ferguson, man, he's that like young guy that like I feel like his upside of like the tight ends, like his upside is nice. Like seems like one of those plays that like eventually they're gonna like kind of just turn him into the guy. But I don't know. I feel
he was I believe 2nd round draft pick out of Oregon, 4-year starter there, or at least his last 3 years. So. There we go. Please upload correctly. It's always that moment of truth to make sure you
got 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right, I'm good. Let's go see what we have for questions here. Sorry, guys. Normally Greg is doing this, but he had some stuff he had to take care of tonight last minute. and he is much better at driving things than I am. So Tex, my fellow old, I know you would remember Cortez Kennedy. Funny thing is my mom, she just 4 days ago, I think it was 82nd birthday, 83rd. I'm blanking right now, but you guys got to see her 2 years ago on her 80th birthday. She popped in here for a show on Sunday Night Football Live before lock. But she was driving in Seattle and she saw this big guy top down on his Mercedes, just big, giant, bald, shaved head. And she's like, she drove by and she's like, I think that's Cortez Kennedy. And he ended up passing her. And the back of his license plate was Tezdome, Tezdome, because that's back when they played in the Kingdom. So she was like, oh my God. She said, I ended up passing him. I waved at him and he gave me a big smile. So that was one of her brushes with me. Neither here nor there, but that's a funny story. So Tex, telling people to go get my head-to-heads there. Make sure we didn't miss any super chats. And my mea culpa if we did not, because you guys were smart and didn't put any in here because Greg is the master getting those on. I think we've hit everything. 4 minutes to go. The person I am most worried I don't have enough of is going to be Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, really? How much Egbuka do you have?
I'm going to look and see here.
I have.
Oh, I'm right around the field, so I can accept that. I would have preferred to make a stand and go over, but I'm not going to change that. Let's look at Tucker. I'm right at the field. Shit, I wish I was a little more on Tucker.
I'm at the field as well, but I have 19% in the captain, so I'm like well overweight in captain, which is like kind of where I want to be. Like if Egbuka's at his peak, like I want to like capitalize in the captain spot.
Yeah, it turns out Rachaad White came out in the wash. Sadly, I am half the field, no captain lineups. I'm not going to go back and tweak that, but that is a regret right now. That is a regret. Fortunately, I have a lot of him in my best ball lineups. So if anything happens, we'll have him. I also have a lot of Tucker. I had a lot of Tampa and a lot of Jacksonville in my best ball. The Jacksonville hasn't really paid off, but you know who I was over on the field, and it's been great the last 2 weeks watching those advance rate tick up. Michael Wilson.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I'm super high on him. The one guy I nailed was I was like, JSN is like the third round pick and like the best. You got to take him. Like he was the guy in the third round, so that was nice. But yeah, I'm making money right now in best ball, so we'll take that.
Yeah, that's always the hard part, especially because on drafters, I'm like getting like 60% back, but they go for the whole season.
Yeah, the whole year.
And then DraftKings, I did my 150 maxed, and I'm basically breaking even, which is amazing at that point. But then you got to go 2 rounds before you start realizing any money. So that breaking even is going to quickly fall, and I'm not going to monetize it unless I get to that second round, and most importantly, the third round. I have not made it to a finals before, but I was knocking on the door last year. I had 2 teams that were close, but they didn't get there.
Maybe this will be the year. I'm with you. I've never been in the final. Maybe this will be the year.
Yes, so we shall see. All right, well, that's going to do it for us, guys. We talked about the Stokastic Hall of Fame. We talked about Tails. We talked about how you could get free sims by going to the link join for Stokastic. So you guys can follow Travis over there on Tails. Reminder, even the premium folks, most of them put something in front of the paywall each day, just so you can kind of see what they're doing. You can get a taste of what's happening over there. You can also see what is going on with sorry, no, I got the wrong thing up there. You can go look at the leaderboards that are over there. That's a lot of fun. Let me get over to that, and I'll just show you guys what that looks like. But it's tails.bet. You can download it.
Plug. I'm high on the leaderboards. Go look. I'm high on the monthly leaderboard. I've got 36 units this month in that. NHL has been really profitable as well for me. So I think I'm on a 6-day streak. It says Emac. It'll be 7 by the end of today. So I'm going for the top spot.
You are tied right now for the top spot. Look at that.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, Emac, the NHL bets have been crushing. I've done good in the other ones too, but the NHL, I think on the month I'm up like 30 units or something. So all of them are doing well, but the NHL is really crushing. And I do give a lot of free bets out. I'm trying to grow myself on there, Emac, but I am paywalling some, and I'm going to keep paywalling. So you got to get in there.
All right, perfect. You guys can see some of the other contributors. All of Lofty stuff is going to be free, but you can see he's on a nice little move. DFS Donuts, he has been on an absolute tear for the last 6 months. You got DK DFS. You guys see him on some of our shows. All of Greg's stuff is free. Ben is a combo of behind the paywall and free. And then Jay Kari doing a lot of free NHL content. So if you got that, it's an uncharted territory. As Travis is mentioning, slightly softer lines because they don't get enough action to really chase this stuff down. It's not easy. It's not gimmies, but they're not paying as much attention to those sides as they are with NFL, NBA, college football, even college basketball. So check that stuff out. But thank you to Travis for joining me tonight. You guys can find me at Emac DFS. Where are you over there on Twitter? Because it's not X, it's Twitter.
Yeah, it's Twitter. I'm just at Travis Mango. So
there we go. And it is Stokastic. No _COM anymore. It is Stokastic. We got that title back. So check that out, everybody, and good luck, gamers.